Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. At the outset, I would really like to thank you, sir, from core of my heart, for coming on a holiday Sunday, sparing your time to be with us. Thank you very much, sir. It is always a pleasure to see you and talk to you, because you talk in a very practical way. Those things you can do, you say yes. Those things you can't do, you say it can't be done. So that's the best thing I like about you. So we start today. We had some of those problems which we actually settled before the budget, and we discussed after the budget also. But then, those were not implemented. But I'm leaving those aside and coming directly to the ordinance signed by the President. So that is a frightening ordinance. That ordinance has frightened everybody. And wherever I've gone, everybody's talking about it. And if you ask me the crux of the frightening element, it is that it has got a word, underfiler. So the underfiler, underfiler, what is the definition of underfiler? We really don't know. One who is filing, who is in the net, we have always been discussing, and it has always been discussed, that those who are in the net should be pampered, should be appreciated, and should be, they should be given encouragement and all sort of things. But what has happened? That this ordinance has broken all our dreams, all our expectations that what this government is doing. Sir, I'm very sorry to state that today's topic in Pakistan is that ordinance. And that underfiler word is actually, is pinching our minds. Okay, what is this underfiler? I can call anybody an underfiler. Even the best of the people, multinationals, 100% corporate sector can be an underfiler. Because the officer sitting at the helm of affairs, whether an income tax officer, whether a sales tax officer, underfiler is, underfiler. I think you are an underfiler because you have kept Mercedes. You should have been keeping Corolla. So you are keeping Mercedes. I think you are an underfiler. So he doesn't know, okay, maybe his father-in-law has gifted him, but the underfiling procedure starts and it never ends. So I wholeheartedly, everybody sitting here, I want you to expunge this word underfiler. And in the initial years, I appreciate your step. See, we would have been, congratulating you if that was for the non-filers. Because we believe that those who are not paying the taxes are the real culprits and real enemies of this country. We are definitely of this point of view. Everybody of us is that point of view, that everybody should participate in the development of the country, and they should play their role. They should pay. If they have earned from this soil, they have to pay. I've been delivering lectures and speeches and reading papers about at that time. That was an issue. I think you were there when the agriculture tax was being discussed. And at that time, I always said that we are not saying that put tax on agriculture. No, we are against that. What we are saying is that any income derived from this country which crosses the benchmark set by the government of Pakistan should attract tax. Whether it is agriculture, whether it is industry, whether it is trading. If at that time it was 400,000 rupees, I still remember, was the benchmark, was the highest limit. And if anybody earning 1 rupee more has to pay tax. So it's not the agriculture we are taxing. We actually want to tax. What we want to tax? We want to tax the income which they are earning on this soil. So that's what we are saying, that those, similarly at this point in time, sir, and there are many other things, you have said that it will be a 500,000 rupee fine and one year imprisonment, and I don't know what not. So that ordinance is like a tall order telling people, please stop doing business in Pakistan. Sir, that tells you this. I'm telling you, this would be the message across the business community. That is what the message is. So that ordinance, sir, needs to be. And one more thing, sir, we have always been requesting. Sir, we are as patriotic as the sitting government. I can assure you this. We are patriotic citizens, and we are Pakistanis. We want to see that Pakistan grows and tax collection is at the optimum level so that we can get the development in the country. And what we want, we don't have if you look at our budget, it's so simple. The expenditures are so simple. Maybe the collection might difficult, but expenditures are so easy to calculate. You're collecting 6,000 rupees, the expenditures are on the fingertips. 3,000 rupees goes in debt servicing, 1,200, 1,300 goes to army, and about 1,500 goes to governance and governing the country, and rest so many. And you start your first day by taking the loan. And people blame that government is taking the loan. You look at the expenditures, what you're doing. You really need about 10 to 12,000 billion rupees collection, minimum. But for that purpose, those people, see, you have to find, if you've lost something, look for that where it has been lost. And not everywhere, and everybody should not be made a target to this. So this would be a very, very bad. Everybody, whoever has met after this ordinance with me, they are talking only one thing. What is this ordinance? Is this victimization for being us in the net? So, and sir, I tell you, you know FBR. You know them in and out. You've been criticizing them. What is the easiest way? The easiest way is to see that those files which they have, Zubair Motiwala's file is there. So what they will do? Open that file, calculate, under filer, issue the notice. क्योंकि तरीन साहब को बताना है कि नोटिस कितनी इश्यू हुई. अभी तक नहीं हुई, चलो भाई इश्यू करो. तो to find a non-filer and to issue a notice would take a time. But yes, you have clubbed Nadra and FBR together, so it might be, but you know that settlements are more easier there. Underhand dealings are more easier because if they go there, they are not in the loop, not in the entire system, so they will settle, and he will be out of those files. So we are concerned. We are all taxpayers sitting here, and mashallah, everybody is paying significant amount of tax. Whatever, maybe it's exporter, maybe anybody else. So, sir, my request to you is that I can go long on discussing on these things because I've read that ordinance and I think it is full of those things that they are fearful. You know, those are, I mean, I remember those draconian laws when the sales tax was imposed and there were 7 books were there, and the laws which came in, then later they were refined and made flexible, and system came in. But at this point in time, sir, that ordinance is horrible, and I don't know it will pass through the assembly or not, but the ordinance is in place. So when I'm living here, I'm living in a terrified atmosphere. So we really want to discuss, and one thing I really want to complain to you, sir, is, sir, we are patriotic Pakistanis. Why don't you take us on board while framing these kind of things? If stakeholders are taken on board, these things would not have been there. We could have always refined and do everything. And the second thing is that, sir, I really want to touch the issue that this is the month of September. We are in. 2.5 months have passed. We are selling our goods to our foreign buyers. It's a competitive market. Yes, due to dollar, some advantages come in, but you always understand that whatever you export out of this country, 60% is the imported raw material, so it has not really affected much to us. But in that case, what I want to tell you is that, sir, DTRE has not been extended. We don't know that from the 1st of July, no notification, extension notification has been issued. How can I sell my goods? Sometimes, you know, it's so competitive market. Okay, if I have to sell, I have to count DTRE, and if I'm earning 1%, 2%, I sell the goods because I don't want to lose the buyer. So that is also the case. So today, exporters are calculating DTRE. Not DTRE, DLTL. DTRE is not that, DLTL. So whether DLTL is there or not, I really don't know. So that DLTL, and you know, you know this, I don't have to tell you, but for the consumption of the people here, 32 billion worth of claims are cleared by FBR, sent to State Bank, but have not been paid. The previous one. But what would be the fate from 1st of July of DLTL? That's the second issue which is really threatening everybody. And the third thing is that this container shortages and shipping lines cartel. So it is actually hampering the exports. It is a very, very serious thing. You know, that if all those shipments, and Americans used to buy on FOB basis, and many of the Europeans also. But you know what has happened today is that they are asking for a CNF. We can't sell them because we don't know what will be the rate. You'll be surprised that, sir, Beijing to LA, the record has been set that a shipping company has charged $20,000, which used to be $2,500 and $3,500 in between. $20,000. Sir, I have imported goods and paid from China to Karachi $9,300. So it was an urgent, it's a raw material, I can't avoid this. So this is also a very serious matter. I don't know how you will handle, how the Commerce Ministry is handling, if they're looking into it or not, or they left it all on us. So what will happen, we don't know. We can't offset this kind of a huge expenditure which is there, which is going to be there. So then comes the issue of Karachi. Sir, I don't know whether it is directly connected to you, but I think it is very directly connected to you. Because you have all the finances. वो बकौल वो डार साहब के, when I said why you're not paying, बोला ये अंधा कुआं है, इसमें जितना डालते अंदर चला जाता है, बाहर निकलता ही नहीं. So I don't know how much अंधा कुआं, but you own that अंधा कुआं. And what I'm saying is that, sir, 1,100 rupees ambitious Karachi transformation plan has been announced by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. I don't know when it will come true, what are the programs. So the first thing when I attended this meeting with the Brigadier Yasir, who is heading all this Karachi transformation plan, I asked him the first question, is there a master plan of Karachi? He said, अभी तक तो नहीं मिला, वो 72 का था, तो उसको हम देख रहे हैं. Sir, what is this? Without a master plan, how can you, invest in Karachi and no master plan? So this kind of an attitude, how can what happened to K4, which is the lifeline? Sir, 11 times the design has been changed for K4 project, only to escalate the price. It started with 22 billion rupees, and today it stands at more than 100 billion rupees. Who is going to pay this? So what I'm saying is, sir, that Karachi transformation plant, why the business community is absent in that whole system? Why we are not being consulted? We know what is going on. And where it pinches, where the sewage system is required, where the storm water is required, which are the industrial areas which need upliftment, where we can do the expansion, where it can help to manufacturing sector, where it can help to the trading community of Pakistan. We know, sir, but we are not taken on board. So, sir, this is also a big thing, that Karachi is being left alone on the mercy of the people. See, the philanthropy which Karachi does for the people who live in Karachi, the poors and poors of the poors, is second in the entire world. We are the second largest philanthropist city in the entire world. So that's why this country, you can see throbbing. Karachi marta to nahi, abhi to pee ke so jate hain. Inko khana bhi milta hai, inko peena bhi milta hai. But there are people like Selanis and Aidis and whatnot. So this is what is going on. Sir, what I'm saying is that a person like you who belongs to Karachi, sir, Karachi would not be built like this. And I know that Rome was not built in overnight. It takes time. But you know, how much time? How we have to go with this? How things would turn? What kind of a program we have? And sir, coming to the trade community. So the High Court building is built on a nala. Supreme Court building is on nala. Karachi Registry, Supreme Court is on nala. And you know what they did with this poor trading community? They broke all their shops, raised everything, and nobody there to help them. Nobody helped them. So this is a kind of a, contravention. What we speak, what we say, गरीब हमारे दोस्त हैं, फलाना है, छोटे-छोटे दुकानदार, they are on the roads. I just don't want to touch more on this. So, and coming to the manufacturing sector, so you've been doing all the tall claims your government has been doing, that we will cut down the cost of manufacturing, we will cut down the cost of doing business in Pakistan, ease of doing business would be available. And and we also really, in the World Bank's eyes also, from 136 we came to 108. But sir, it's too high. What we want is an even playing field. Sir, you intervene into this. It's your sector, because see, the tax targets, I link this tax target with the manufacturing sector. What happens is, so that the tax target in 2 months have been busted by 160 billion rupees. So what is this? It's an English phrase that taxes are nothing but the byproduct of vibrant economy and running wheel of. So that's what I'm saying is that you give them, you see that ease of doing business is valuable, your taxes would automatically increase. I can bet this, and it is true in every part of the world. So that is what has happened. Your GDP has increased, your trade account has increased, so your taxes have increased, because they are only the byproducts. So we have to help the manufacturing sector. So what I'm asking to you is that give us an even playing field. What is happening, sir? We don't have an even playing field within Pakistan. Karachi is expensive, and Punjab is not expensive. Punjab is the lesser for the manufacturing cost. How can I compete? I can't compete within the country. What to talk about the competing in the world market? Sir, you very graciously announced, the government of Pakistan, that 5-0 rated sectors would get gas at $6.5 and electricity at 9 cents. What is happening is that it is true for SNGPL, other than Karachi territory. Not a single connection of RLNG has been given to the Karachiites of $6.5. Why? I really fail to understand. Then how would it expand? How would it increase the exports? So, sir, this is a gross injustice. And person like you sitting there, and I'm so grateful that for this 9 cents, you fought in the cabinet. I knew this. And now, alhamdulillah, after 2.5 months gap, KE has started giving this 9 cents tariff to us. But, sir, how many times are you going to fight for us? Then they will say you always fight for Karachi. I'm talking on principle basis, that why principally we have not got this, why we are not at par with the entire Pakistan. That is what my question is. And sir, Ogra and Nepra, in those period of governments, 10, 12 years ago, they were called white elephants. But then modification was brought in, and the things got changed. Today, I call them again, they are the white elephants. They have nothing to do with the justice. I don't demand anything. Last time when I went to the NEPRA, the chairman was so arrogant that he shut off the mics of the people who were talking sense, who were telling him what is the calculation, what KE is applied, and what should be the justified figures. He said, no, because he settled with them. I believe that it was a preconceived settlement with the electricity supplier and nothing else. So why this is so? I mean, why out of those 3 people, one consumer representative is not there? I demand on behalf of the Karachi's community that at least for Karachi, we can't sustain these 3 people who are appointed by somewhere. They are the bureaucrats, and they come and sit and decide our fate. This time they are going to increase gas prices, and I've gone there. I can send you my speech. It is legitimate. I can send you the calculation. They are increasing 80 rupees or something. They have sent it to the cabinet. I think that 59 rupees reduction should be there. This is, I'm talking when they calculated dollar at 62. Now it is 69. So I don't know the new system, but that will come after 6 months. But at this point in time, we can decrease 59 rupees and they are increasing 80 rupees. So this is, sir, I don't know what to say and what not to say. And then they talk about indigenous gas and VACOG and, mixture of the gases. Sir, what will happen in the winter for the gas to Karachi? Now, I just want your very solid attention to me, what I'm now going to say and what I'm going to tell you now. Sir, industry of Karachi or SSGC, industry situated in the territory of SSGC, Sindh and Balochistan, all put together, utilize 380 to 400 mmcf of gas. And this gas, if you go back to 2002, it dropped to 335 or 36. Then, it was a cold period. Then we started gaining that, and it has come to now 400 or less than 400. But it has remained stagnant. We are utilizing gas, we are using gas since 5, 6, 7 years, less than 400 or 400 mmcf. Why we are being penalized? For a political gain, the connections are given to Kachi Abadis. Village gasification in the name of village gasification, and all those other things. You're giving it to 4G fertilizer, which you can't go near to them, to close down when there is scarcity. You're given to KE, and you're given to generations at Thatta and everywhere. The increase, or Balochistan consumption increase in winter from 40 MMCF to 200 MMCF. Is this our fault? Or if the 4G doesn't shut down, it's our fault? We have not increased. We are at 400 MMCF. Why we are being curtailed? Why our gas is curtailed? I fail to understand why. You don't want to run the industry? And the first people to hit, first sector to get hit is the industry. And when you talk about them, and what they say, see, the government has given this the priority, that the priority number one to get gas is domestic. Sir, is it this is what we want to do, and increase exports and increase production and ease of doing business when there are no pressures, nothing else, and we want gas and there is not there? This is our policy. I mean, policy should be spelled out so that people don't go into expansion, don't put up their plants, and don't go into industrialization. I mean, if that is the policy, it should be spelled out. Okay, but this would happen. We want political mileages and nothing else. We don't want to give gas to the industry, and that's our decision. But that's what it is. That we go like this. So we decide like this. We work like this. But sir, we have not increased gas. What I'm telling you, sir, is that use your good offices. Karachi's industry or Sindh and Balochistan industry has not increased the consumption of the gas. But we are being penalized. We have been called कि अब तो RLNG लेनी पड़ेगी. You sit down, settle the rates, falana. See, we're not going to settle the rates because we have not increased our gas. So we should not be penalized. My request to you is, sir, look at the figures, go deep into it, and sir, it's Sindh's gas. We have 72% of gas. We have got the constitutional cover. Article 158 is very clear that gas is first right of gas usage is of the people of where it is being explored. So that is what we are doing, and if that is our right, we should not be deprived of our right. And why? If you say that there should be a uniform gas rate, why I'm saying is that there is no water, and for any value-added industry, water is the prime requirement. And in Punjab, there is free water. Here I get water at 500 rupees. So there is a big difference, and that we offset through gas prices, or we don't buy RLNG. And then the Punjab has already settled, mashallah. They're using coal, I don't know, corn, and rice husk. So many things they're using it as fuel. But we don't have that capacity because we don't have space. The space is limited in Karachi, and the very expensive space, we can't do it, sir. So I'm taking too long, but the last is the Afghanistan impact. So dollar-rupee parity. So when people ask me, correct me in your speech if I've understood correctly, there is a $4 billion deficit. I said it's you can calculate all this because from oil went from $45 to $75. And that makes about 1 billion rupees or what. And then we had to import wheat, then we had to import rye, the sugar. And then when your exports increases, your import of raw materials also increases. And if it's 60% and you increase $2 billion of export, that means that $1.2 billion will also be there. So the imports increases. So that's what the impact is. So this impact, those raw material which is imported will be utilized in the future. So it will slow down. But the big impact, I believe, is also of the Afghanistan. Dollar is a commodity, and supply and demand game works here also. And when there are more demand, then there are less dollars available, then dollar goes up. How long we are going to do it? But I'm very sad about this, that you very rightly, very correctly, very ably, very wisely decided to allow trade in rupee with Afghanistan. But the governor, Bakir Raza Saab, I hope that she did not like your decision. Still, the notification is not there, and I am reporting it to you. I am also the president of Karachi, Pakistan-Afghanistan Joint Chamber. 60% trade has gone down, 60%. And they want all those commodities which we manufacture there in Afghanistan. We are unable to export because of your orders not implemented. So kindly see to it. So bilateral trade and transit trade are both the issues. New government is coming in. I think that we have been negotiating with the previous government, but they were stubborn and they were not listening. We have a very big interest that we can, in this shipping dilemma, we can use this CIS countries route and reach Europe very easily by road. and our exports can be very competitive, and India can't do this, and we would be able to do it. So there's a big, big advantage. So government has to work immediately, urgently, and constantly to see that this happens. And we talk with the present regime. Once they are settled, I think that the first thing should be that economy should be the first thing. EPTA agreement, which governs the Afghanistan-Pakistan relationship, has expired long ago. It was extended for 6 months. Then again, it was supposed to be extended. Then PTA, we were discussing, it is also not in place. So bilateral relation with Afghanistan and trade with CIS countries is a golden chance for Pakistan. All those things which you're worried about, the trade deficit, current account deficit, can be taken care if we can do this. So that is what my submissions are. And if I've forgotten something, people would come up with that. Sir, I also want to congratulate that as far as the law and order situation is concerned, from 128th from sixth most dangerous country, we have come to 128. So things are picking up, things are doing good. You're launching a new portal, which will be one window portal. So that is also a very, very nice thing. And 1% rate capital investment, you're offering 1% interest rate. State Bank, 2 or 3%. End of the day, there's a lot of machines have come in. And I think this would definitely boost the manufacturing sector in terms of quality, quantum, and quantity also. So that will also increase the export. And I have told this to the Prime Minister while thanking this 1%, that, sir, you have done a very good thing. And 350 billion rupee worth of machinery has already arrived, and I think similar amount of machinery is in pipeline. But, sir, can I ask you that these machines would run on air or by magic? So they all need energy. That has been forgotten by the policymakers while they formulated this policy. This should have been coupled, that if you're importing these machines, also furnish the requirement of energy with these machines. And those machines, with the LCs were approved, they should have also fixed that energy component should also be kept in mind. So that has not been kept in mind. So that, I think that you have to we can support you, we can make all those things into this. And subsidy for electricity, you have sanctioned it, and now you're in the process of you have called a meeting on Monday for energy subsidy and this, and what I hear and what my information is, may be correct, maybe not correct, but that you want to see that exporters should get that subsidized rate of gas. And I think you are very right. And and the talks which were going on, that the spinners should not get that subsidy because they're selling local. So, but sir, let me tell you that spinners are also part of our manufacturing cost. We buy yarn, and if the yarn becomes expensive because of the electricity prices, we would be uncompetitive again. So, sir, but one thing I could suggest at this podium is that those who sell to the exporters should get a subsidized rate, but those who are exporting should not get. Because if you subsidize the exports of yarn, that means you are making me more competitive. You want me to compete more in the world market, which I cannot. What I'm saying is simple, is that they should be compelled more to sell the yarn in the local market to the exporters. That would be the wisest thing we do, because we face shortage of gas, shortage of yarn, and if that is done, many ills of exporters of quality yarn which has been exported outside the country can be used. We can use this as a leverage, and we can see that yarn is more available in Pakistan. So that is our requirement. But sir, entirely cutting off the subsidy to the spinning sector would not be a wise step at this point in time, because we've calculated, we have sold our goods for future 6 months. So I think that would not be a very good thing to do. So 2-3 things are, and the last is that, sir, you came to Karachi Chamber, you agreed on certain things, but they were never implemented. But when I can see that your order for this rupee trade is also not being issued notification, but I think these few things which I also send it to you, if you want, I can give you in writing. Sir, kindly do this. These are very important things. Like the yarn 8A position, 8B, yarns 8B, and then under 156 penalties on non-compliance, then packing list in the container, which you all agreed कि packing list नहीं चाहिए उसके अंदर यार, तो फिर वो then still it is going on and कुछ और नहीं हुआ, हमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुआ सर. 25,000 रुपये का किसी के साथ 50,000 रुपये का खर्चा बढ़ गया पर कंटेनर, बाकी कुछ नहीं हुआ, निकल तो फिर भी जाता है जब नहीं होती पेकिंग लिस्ट. सिर्फ ये तो वी ओपनिंग करप्शन डोर्स. सो ये जो चीज़ें ये नहीं होनी चाहिए सर. वो कस्टम ड्यूटी ऑन आपका हमने रिक्वेस्ट की थी रिएक्टिव डाइस की सर. यू वेरी वेल अग्रीड, टैरिफ कमीशन अग्रीड, कॉमर्स मिनिस्ट्री अग्रीड, बट नेवर इम्प्लीमेंटेड. Sir, 85% of the reactive dyes are imported and we are unnecessarily being penalized. And there are normal rate of duty. What we are saying is bring them at par with dispersed dyes and wet dyes. Nothing else. And we don't want any favors. But this should not be dealt separately because somebody is manufacturing 4-5% of the reactive yarns. And you're protecting him since last 40 years. So the protection must come to an end. Sir, indenting commission. Sir, इसको भी आपको ज़रूर देखना है. Why you should do it. कि इंडेंटिंग कमीशन का क्या होगा. हफीज़ अजीज़ सिटिंग हियर और इनका जो कमीशन होता है उसके वो कहते हैं कि जी यान के 10% दे दो तो और उनका कमीशन 1% आधा % है. तो हाउ कैन दे गिव इट. यू अग्रीड टू दिस. अब 2 नंबर में काम हो रहा है. वो जो पेमेंट इनकी जो है वो 2 नंबर में आ रही है. दे वांट टू पे द टैक्सेस, दे वांट टू बी इन द लाइन. व्हाई वी आर डिप्राइविंग देम. इट शुड बी 0.1%, that means 0.10% of their commission and not of that what we are taking this. So ये 2-3 छोटी बातें हैं लेकिन वो मैटर करती हैं आपके साथ. मैंने थोड़ा सा आपका टाइम ज़्यादा ले लिया लेकिन you gave me that liberty. So when somebody gives me the liberty, I can even talk till evening and it won't end. But I think I have covered so many things and further can people sitting here would do it. तरीन साहब, मैं सबसे पहले ये आपसे आपकी सेहत के लिए दुआ गो कि आप जो पाकिस्तान के लिए काम कर रहे हैं अल्लाह आपको हिम्मत दे, ताकत दे और वो विजडम दे कि पाकिस्तान को आप उन तरक्की की राहों पर गामज़न कर सकें जिसका हम सब ख्वाब देखते हैं. थोड़ी बहुत तकलीफ़ें उसमें होंगी लेकिन हम ये चाहते हैं कि तकलीफ़ें लेजिटिमेट हों और अल्लाह आपको इसके लिए जो है ना आपको जज़ा भी दे कि पाकिस्तान की आप खिदमत कर रहे हैं. और आखिर में मैं हमारे लीडर सिराज कासिम तेली साहब के लिए ज़रूर दुआ करूँगा कि अल्लाह उनको उनके दर्जात को बुलंद करे और उनको अपने जवार रहमत में जगह अता फरमाए. हम उनको हर वक्त मिस करते हैं और उनकी कमी महसूस होती है. आपने भी आके यही बात की, मैं भी यही बात करता हूँ. हम सारों का यही है कि अल्लाह उनके दर्जात को बुलंद फरमाए. आप तमाम का बेहद शुक्रिया.